You see the gear. You know what it is. It's game day, baby. I ain't playing around. And the Eagles, Packers, three best bets are on the way. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. This is the free three. Let's get into it for this Friday, September the 6th slate. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make some money. The NFL season started off just the way that we needed it to. 2-1 on the day yesterday. So close to a sweep, but we'll take it. We cashed it on our 6-point teaser, Ravens +9 and the under 52.5. It got a little sweaty there at the end, but that toenail kept us in the game. Very tough to see that, but hey, we'll cash the teaser. That's why sometimes you got to buy the points, because a lot of people on Ravens +3, that would have lost, but the teaser got us over, so we love to see that. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown, cashed in on the first drive. You love to see it. And then Derrick Henry rush attempts. In the first half, we were looking really good. I mean, dude had like 9-10 carries in the first half. He just wasn't able to get the volume in the second half, and that was due to the fact that the Ravens were down double digits for the majority of that second half. You hate to see that, so I don't think it was really the bad read. It was just more situational, because I did think the game was going to be a little bit closer than that. But shout out to the Chiefs. That's why they're Super Bowl champions. They got it done. So 2-1 on the day yesterday. Not too bad to the start of the NFL season and the month of September. Today, we are back. 3 more winners are on the way. Shout out to my birds. I got my blanket with me. I got everything, man. I'm so excited for this game. Not a big fan of that's in Brazil, but cool. Like, let's, if you're going to market a team in the NFL, to help expand its reach globally, I mean, there's no better team to do than the Eagles, so it's whatever, right? So I'm excited that we have football on a Friday. I'm excited to watch this game, so let's get into these winners for today. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button just yet, if you're not sharing these videos with your friends who are sports betting fans, what are you doing? Because we're here every single day dropping picks and plays. I don't give you long, convoluted analytics and all these different things. I'm just here trying to give you my quick analysis, my quick opinions and takes on the game. If you don't like it, feel free to fade me. I have no problem with it. The goal is just to beat the sports books and to put more money into your pocket. All right, my friends, let's dive into these winners for today in this Packers and Eagles matchup. For my first best bet in this Friday card, if you tapped into yesterday's video, then you guys kind of know how I like to do this. And especially when we only have one game on, I'm going to give you my analysis, my take on the game, and then I will give you the corresponding picks that kind of blend in and go along with it. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan, die hard, been the whole thing my whole entire life, but I try not to be super biased when I'm taking these picks. Why? Because money is green, so are the Eagles. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to make money. I'm not trying to be biased. Everybody and they mama is on the Packers. I mean, people are taking the Packers to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm willing to go that far, but I will say this. I understand why people are taking the Packers. If you look at how this regular season ended last year for both of these teams, Eagles started off the year 10-1 before dropping 6 straight games. We saw them get completely blown out and smacked in that NFC wildcard matchup against the Buccaneers. It doesn't help as well that they lose key veterans on this team during the offseason. Their best offensive lineman and Jason Tackle, the catalyst of that offensive line, one of the best centers to ever play the game, he retired. Fletcher Cox, the guy who held it down on that defensive line, he retired. And then we also have Hassan Reddick, who was traded to the Jets. He left. So a lot of question marks are surrounding this Eagles team, especially defensively, as to what they can do. Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers, they retooled. We saw them upset the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. We saw Jordan Love really look good, kind of get a good hold of that offense. Now you've got Christian Watson. Now you've got Jaden Reed. You've got Romeo Doubs. You also bring in Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs from Las Vegas. I know he's a little bit older, but at the end of the day, he's still a solid option. So there's a lot of different pieces for this Packers team, while I can understand why a lot of people are on them. I cannot put money against the Eagles in tonight's game. I will be honest with you. So as a result, we're going to run it back with a teaser, and we're going to go with the Packers +8.5 here, and then we're going to take the over 43.5. That gets you to -120 odds. So 6-point teaser here. We're going to take the Packers from +2.5 where they are at on certain books, and we're going to bring them up to +8.5. I do think the Eagles win. I'm biased, but I don't think they win by more than a touchdown, okay? So that's why I'm going to take the 8.5 insurance here, and then I'm also going to go over 43.5 and take that total down down from about 49.5. Now, one of the reasons why I do like the over in this matchup are both of these defenses are just not really that good. There are a lot of question marks around both of these defenses. The offense of both of these teams are what matters, okay? Obviously, on the Eagles side, Jalen Hurts, they bring in Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the league, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. They have a ton of options there. The big question mark is how's Jalen Hurts going to do without Travis Kelce really doing all the pre-snap kind of formation reads and everything. And then obviously they have a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. We saw him at the Chargers. We saw him with the Cowboys. Now on the other side for the Packers, same type of story offensively for them. Jordan Love is the main guy there. I just talked about all the different pieces that they've had, but Jordan Love, he looked really good in the back half of the year. Starting the year, he had a 57.7% completion rate with 6.4 yards per attempt and 11 touchdowns to go with 8 interceptions. That's why they started off the year 2-5. But guess what? On the back half of the year, that completion rate went all the way up to 69%, and he was going for 7.8 yards per attempt, so he was stretching the field a lot more. He had a 26-5 touchdown to interception ratio, and that's why the Packers finished off the year 8-12 before losing to the NFC Championship, which were the 49ers in the divisional round. So that's what you're looking for from Jordan Love, a repeat performance here now that he's had a full offseason again with this offense, same coordinator and everything like that. So I'm expecting a lot of offense from both of these teams, considering that defensively is the weak part for both of these lineups. Now, one thing that the Packers also did defensively is they fired their defensive coordinator, same thing that the Eagles did. The Eagles bring in Vic Mangino from the Dolphins. I'll kind of break that down a little bit here more in a second. The Packers fired defensive coordinator Joe Barry, and they brought in new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. He's coming from the collegiate ranks at Boston College, and I'm going to break him down a little bit more in a second. But overall, he has not coached in the NFL since 2018, so I think that's why I'm liking the offense here. There's going to be a lot of question marks on how that, college game, NFL game is completely a little bit different, but what he likes to do is rely on single high safety looks, which I think that is going to cause a few problems. Now, Jalen Hurts has struggled in the past against single high safeties, but when you have this explosive offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith able to stretch the field, and now you've got a good, reliable back in the backfield in Saquon Barkley, who can't only run it, but can also catch the ball as well. I think there's a lot of things that can be explored there. Obviously, the Packers have one of the best corners in the league in Jared Alexander. They also brought in safety Xavier McKinney. So there's a lot more things that the Packers can do defensively that can hurt the Eagles, which is why I'm taking the Packers plus 8.5, but I'm just not willing to say that they're going to win this game outright. The Eagles on paper have the better roster, and they just have more experience, and they've been able to play in these bigger situations and these games, these atmospheres in the past. So that's my take on the game. I believe that the Packers are going to be able to keep this game close. I think it comes down to like the last drive, like we saw in yesterday's game. Do I think that the Eagles win the game? Yes, but am I willing to lay the -3? Not necessarily. I think the teaser is the best way to look, but I do think we get a ton of offense on both sides. Yesterday, 27-20. That's not really that high scoring of a game. Would have gone over this 43.5 total. I think we're going to see something very similar today. Maybe 28-24, 32-28, something like that. That's what I'm expecting from both of these teams here today. Give me the 6-point teaser as our first pick of the day. So because of everything that I like here, and I mentioned Jalen Hurts has struggled against a single high safety look, right? But when you have a single high safety, what does that also mean? It means a lot of man coverage. If you guys don't know that and you don't know NFL or football like that, it means a lot of man coverage. Man coverage is what A.J. Brown eats on. It's what Devontae Smith eats on. They are quick off the line. They can stretch the field. The Eagles are not afraid to throw slant routes. They're not afraid to do screen passes. As a result, Jalen Hurts should be able to get some points today. I'm taking over 240.5 passing yards, -110 odds here. Last year, Hurts threw for about 226 yards per game, which is a little bit lower than his 2022 mark, where he threw for about 247 yards per game. I'm expecting him to get a little bit back more to that form this year for him to be able to throw the ball a little bit more. And like I said, I think that this offense is going to be more predicated around him stretching out the field. And with the Eagles maybe might be down here and there a little bit, that's what hurt us yesterday with Derrick Henry, and we saw Lamar Jackson throw it like 40 plus times. This could be an opportunity for Jalen Hurts here to throw the ball a lot. So I like Jalen Hurts here. I know a lot of people are going to be on Saquon. I'm not opposed to that. I like his anytime touchdown, but I do think that this is is the game that Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball a lot. One thing that I also researched and saw is that the turf, the field that they're playing at in Brazil, is the same exact type of grass that is used both at Lincoln Financial, where the Eagles play, and Lambeau Field, where the Packers play. So it should not be that big of a difference field-wise from what they are used to. That actually matters. If we've seen in games in the past where players are slipping, they're falling, all types of stuff are going on, I think that's going to play a factor, that the surface is going to be very familiar, and this game is in Brazil. It's a little bit different than when you have to travel across the pond to London and Germany like we've seen in some of these other international games. That jet lag, that time difference makes a difference. You don't really get that when you're playing in South America. So all of these reasons, I know that's not like the craziest analysis where I'm telling you like Jalen Hurts, he went over this total in 9 of the last 10 games and all that stuff. It's a new season, guys. We have to take that with a grain of salt. And when you have the new season, new offensive coordinator, we know what Kellen Moore likes to do. Throw the ball a lot. We saw that with Prescott in Dallas. We saw that with Justin Herbert with the Chargers. I don't know exactly what this offense is going to look like when you bring in such a key piece like Saquon Barkley, but we do know that Jalen Hurts has been a catalyst for this team. And then A.J. Brown, the receiving core, has been for several years. They rely on that. They also picked up another solid number 3 wide receiver from the Redskins, former first-round pick Jahan Dotson. I think he's going to be a great slot receiver for this team. 240.5 passing yards. I think that's going to be a good bet for today. Give me Jalen Hurts to go over that total for our second best bet of the day. Third and final best bet of the day. I told you I was going to dive into Vic Mangino's defense a little bit for the Eagles. And when you look at Vic Mangino's defense, what they do is a double high safety look. So when you do a double high safety look, what does that do? It now allows the defense to kind of be complex. It allows Jordan Love to have to go through more progressions pre-snap and not really be able to see what's going to happen. And it allows your defenders to be coming downhill rather than backpedaling and going back. So what does that mean? It means that they don't want to give up a lot of explosive plays. They want to keep everything in front of them. And if that's the case, then that means there are more people in the box. The linebacking core is a little bit closer to the line. But when you have receivers spread out, especially guys like Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, who can spread out the field a little bit, it now spreads out the defense, which means what? Can open up the run game. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs over 62.5 rushing yards, minus 110 odds here. There's a lot of question marks on the Eagles defensive line. They went from the number 1 defensive line in their Super Bowl year 2-3 years ago to last year being one of the lowest in the NFL. They're not getting the pressure that they used to. They were still a number 11 rushing defense to finish the year, but if you look at the numbers, it was heavily skewed. At the beginning of the year, that defensive line was immaculate, but as the year progressed and they started losing games, it was because of that run defense. Look at the numbers. Ricard White from the Buccaneers in that playoff matchup, 80 yards rushing. James Conner in that upset win when the Cardinals beat the Eagles, 128 yards on the ground. Saquon, 80 yards on the ground. Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks, 86 yards on the ground. McCaffrey, 93 yards. These are all running backs that went over this total during that losing streak that the Eagles went on to lose the season last year. And that's just what a lot of handicappers, this is what a lot of analysts are saying is going to happen in this game. Are the Eagles back? What form are they going to be in? Or is this losing kind of bad momentum streak going to continue into this game? Obviously, it's a new season, but there's still a lot of question marks around this Eagles team. No Fletcher Cox there anymore. Brandon Graham is old as hell. No Hassan Reddick. So there's a lot of question marks. Obviously, you still have the Georgia boys in the defensive tackle, right? That Carter who can still do some things. But I do think that there's a lot of question marks that is going to be alongside of this Eagles defensive line. And the head coach for the Packers, LaFleur, he said he wants to really have an balanced offense this year. He doesn't want everything to be on Jordan Love's shoulder. That was one of the reasons why the Packers were able to do really well the back half of the year, not only because Jordan Love was playing well, but because they were able to mix in a good amount of the run. Keep in mind, A.J. Dillon's out for the year with a neck injury, so what does that mean? Josh Jacobs is the main guy here. He's going to be the guy who's going to get the majority of the touches, and as a result, 62.5 yards is pretty low for me. Give me that as our third and final pick of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets in this Friday Eagles and Packers matchup. We're going to go with another 6-point teaser here. Give me the Packers up to play 8.5. Give me the over 43.5. Give me Jalen Hurts over 248 passing yards. And then give me Josh Jacobs over 62.5 rushing yards. For more picks and plays that I'm going to be looking at throughout the day, I'm going to have a ladder leg, probably something with A.J. Brown's receptions and yards. I might get something like Jalen Hurts rushing yards in there as well. There are a few different lines that I like out there. If you want those, click the link in the description, join the free Discord group. I've got you guys, and here's one extra bonus bet if you stayed this long. I appreciate all the love and support. Indiana Fever playing the Minnesota Lynx tonight in the WNBA. I'm fading the Fever. I know they've been hot, but to me, the Minnesota Lynx are the best team in the WNBA right now. They're on the road. They're only about 1-point favorites, which is very low for them this year. Minnesota Lynx have been a covering machine on the road this year. I'm going to take them against the Fever. I know the Fever have been hot, but the Lynx are a whole nother ball game defensively. Give me the Lynx on the spread tonight against the Fever. So that's a bonus WNBA bet for you guys. So 4 quick winners for you guys on this Friday card. Let's get after that money today. I'll be back tomorrow with a quick short with a few college football picks for you guys. And as always, let's get to that money, dictate your fate, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Later, gang.